Hello and welcome to the Movie Bunker podcast. It's me, Matt, and this is normally the point where Chris says this is Chris, but he's not actually here today. I'm just quickly introducing our live podcast that we did for SuperPod 2020. Just a quick heads up, the sound quality is a little bit intermittent, but I think it's good and listenable. And there's a bit of outrageous padding in this because we had to fill a whole hour, so listener beware. Before we start the podcast, just wanted to point you to SuperPod 2020. If you just Google SuperPod 2020, you'll be able to find links there. And if you like what you hear, or if you just want to get behind Sports Relief, then follow the links there to donate. Enjoy.
This is SuperPod 2020. 2 days of great comedy and sporting podcasts. We're raising money in aid of sport relief. To give what you can, go to superpod.co.uk and click donate. And now, it's time for another live podcast. Broadcasting live online on your smart speaker and on Facebook Live. This is SuperPod 2020.
Hello and welcome to the Movie Bunker podcast. It's me, Chris.
And me, Matt.
We are the movie review podcast with a twist. Would you say, Matthew?
Yes, eventually, obviously. So we take poorly rated movies, review them to try and find the diamond in the rough to see if the reviewer is always right about the reviews that they make.
Yeah, critically panned films are only what we're interested in. Turkeys. We're the turkey testers. We're here for Sport Relief live in our hometown.
Yes, we should have said really welcome to SuperPod.
And welcome to SuperPod. It's all about me, always.
You don't get to edit me out this time though, Chris.
No. There's no editing today. You can swear as much as you like. I don't think you can swear as much as you like.
Oh, yeah, forgot to warn you, no swearing, please.
No, oh God, yeah. That's going to be hard.
That's going to be a blow. That's going to take the runtime down a bit.
Yeah, so this is a new... We've not done a live podcast before, so this is... we're on new territory. We've always warned, threatened to do it live, but usually there's no one that would turn up. Like today, really. What I would suggest is we go through some of the bits and pieces of how you can donate. So,
yep.
There's a couple of ways you can do that. There's links to Sport Relief fundraising gift pages on the Facebook page for SuperPod 2020 and the Twitter feed. So if you just Google SuperPod 2020, you should be able to find everything you need to donate to Sport Relief, which is a fantastic cause, obviously. But, that's enough about charity. We're here to talk about poorly rated films. So, because of the remit of our podcast is to talk about these badly reviewed films out there, we thought we'd do a sport film. We were asked to do a sport film and set the challenge.
Wasn't that hard to find badly rated sports films?
What did we do, Matt? You kind of had a little...
Well, first of all, we just started with badly rated sports films. That didn't narrow the field down an awful deal. So then we thought, we'll do badly rated sports films that feature an animal. And again, didn't really narrow it down an awful. So then we picked a specific animal. Let's do badly rated sports films featuring a chimpanzee/monkey. That brought the list down to 5. And eventually we decided to pick Ed, a sports movie with a chimpanzee and Matt LeBlanc.
Here's the trailer.
At practice, I was an ace. I couldn't miss. But in the game...
Tell me you ain't gonna throw the curve, Tip. You ain't gonna throw the curve, Tip.
Things were going from bad to worse.
A little word to the wise. You choke, you croak.
Until someone came along...
I'm supposed to pick up a ball player.
...to lend me a hand.
Meet Ed Sullivan.
Welcome aboard, dude!
He can catch. He can throw.
Cool.
He can swing.
Ed, get down. Suppose you drive, too.
And now he's turning Jack's luck around. On the field. And off.
He's a great friend. You're lucky, Jack.
Tell me about it. Where are they taking Ed? You traded him?
Sold him.
He's a ball player. player.
Ball players get traded.
I'm gonna bring him home.
From Universal Pictures
He's not putting that monkey in his game.
comes the story of two ball players who shared one dream. And one very small apartment.
Oh, not my bathroom.
Don't you do it. Friends Matt LeBlanc.
Bad monkey.
Yes, well, I mean, amazing, as you will probably all agree. Yeah, so it speaks for itself, really. But
I just want to point out, normally we pick films that I can watch for free.
yeah, well,
Like,
that's
it's
not-
on Netflix or Sky. I had to put $6.99 into this
Yeah,
of my own money.
and so you watched it twice.
I watched it twice to get the best value for money out of it.
Which is even worse watching that trailer today,
Yeah.
knowing what we've gone through already.
£3.40 a viewing.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
still down.
I mean, you can tell pretty much from the trailer, even if you're just listening at home, the general gist of it. So, but the plot synopsis isn't hard to follow. Well, the storyline slightly is, but in this baseball comedy, a potentially talented minor league pitcher finds himself upstaged by the team's newest star player, a chimpanzee. The chimpanzee is actually played by two acrobats in an animatronic suit.
Not at the same time.
No.
That'd be a feat of engineering.
So yeah, I mean the film. Should we talk about the cast?
Yes, because it's got an obvious star.
Yeah, who's that?
Matt LeBlanc. So this was made 2 years after Friends had started.
Yes.
So I don't know whether or not this is one of those films where they'd made it prior as an up-and-coming actor, and they obviously realised it was awful and decided not to release it. Then 2 years into Friends being out, they decided to release it. But there is a Friends clip in the film.
Yeah, they drop a Rachel and Marcel
Marcel.
clip in there just to parody. Al, have you got the still with the cast on it so that we can have a little look at those lovely faces? I mean, I
You recognise a few.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that struck me first when watching it is that so many sort of recognisable actors pop up in it.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think it because
That's not Einstein, by the
No.
way. He's not in it.
So going through the cast, Matt LeBlanc, he's not there for obvious reasons. So everyone should know what his face looks like. But some of the other casts will go through. So
Yeah, so Einstein is actually Jack Warden. Who's been in, it does look a lot like Einstein.
it does, doesn't it?
Who's been in many films that you'll recognise. Baseball-wise, he's in 8 Men Out, famously. So Jack Cobbs plays that old wise guy in lots of films. In this, he just kind of giggles, though.
Oh yeah, but it's a lovely giggle.
And then the other guy says to him, say something. He says, tell me that that's not. And then he'll just repeat that back. He had the easiest job in the world.
Yeah, he just basically repeats the lines.
Just picked it up and, yeah. Jane Brooke, middle bottom.
She's probably the most well known at the moment because she's in the latest Star Trek Netflix series.
Yeah.
Doing quite well. She's probably put this behind her. Chimpanzees in space might. Well, I don't know. That's a bit.
So we thought we'd tweet some of these cast members.
We did.
We did. And we tweeted a lot of the cast members.
Yes.
And none of them replied.
Well, yeah, we asked for. We reached out to the stars. We thought maybe they'd like to either send a quote or talk about the film, their experiences being on the movie set with obviously Matt LeBlanc and the chimpanzee.
Yeah.
But ultimately, no replies.
None.
No, Instagram as well. You'd think everyone's on that these days.
Jane's only got 19,000 followers.
It's rude, isn't it? But yeah, a blanket sort of scattergun approach to sort of trying to get some people to talk to us.
But they
about this
wouldn't.
film.
They
No.
wouldn't talk to us. The guy on the top, he's actually one of the acrobats that plays Ed.
No, it's not. No.
Isn't it?
No, it's a different guy.
You sure?
Yeah. Because
Who's that guy then? That's the owner.
yeah, he's in the different cast.
Oh, I thought he was the
I
acrobat
can't
guy.
remember his name now because you've got the IMDb.
I got IMDb doesn't work up here.
The bottom, that chap there on the left-hand side there is he's an actor too.
You can tell we're professional with
He's
this.
been in a couple of films, isn't he? That
What,
one?
Jim Cazale?
Yes, that's the one. So yeah, who was the director though? That was the.
So this was interesting, and again, flicking quick to my notes. So Bill Cacciuri was the director here, and on Rotten Tomatoes, he's got 2 films. Ed, which scores 0%, and a documentary Dear America, Let Us Home from Vietnam, which scores 100%. So, you know,
well, there's a.
I think he's found his niche.
Yeah,
it's not chimpanzee-based films.
No.
But actually, I just want to. I've not seen Let Us Home from America. There could be many chimps in that one.
It could be. Well, I mean, let people write to chimps, don't they? There was a lot of surprise about the fact that he was directing it, and I think that was not controversy is the wrong word, but there was a lot of blank faces in the film industry. Were sort of
he had done literally very little beforehand, a bit of TV work.
No chimpanzee-based movies at all.
No.
And then decided.
I mean, you'd have thought they'd got the guy from MVP, but he was busy. MVP too.
Yeah, was it 1996? So riding on the wave of the Friends thing. So,
yeah.
Well, let's go into a bit of this plot then, because we'll go talk a bit about a couple of the memorable things.
So as in old-fashioned trailers, as we saw there, it pretty much actually does detail the order of events in the film. So Matt LeBlanc, there is very traditionally small-town boy who's got a prestigious talent in, I was going to say bowling, pitching in American baseball.
He's very good at pitching fast in a straight line.
Yeah,
which is quite...
when no one's looking.
Yeah.
So he gets picked up by the something Rockets. A baseball team, a minor league baseball team. We obviously take a bit of a jump at this point because it goes forward a bit.
Yeah.
We see this hyper-aggressive crowd, and I don't know if it's realistic or not, but they were like, ah!
Yeah, there's a lot of angry face face-ups, close-ups of angry faces in that one. Because he doesn't do particularly well to start with.
For an awfully long time for this film, he's not doing particularly well.
No, which begs the question why he's kind of picked up in the first place. Because he gets...
Because he throws it really hard.
He throws it hard, but he's not...
And it makes a whistling noise.
But he can't curve the ball. Is that right?
Well, he can, but he just can't do it on demand when people ask him to.
He's shy.
He's shy. But so we see that he chokes a lot. He gets hit all over the park. It looks like he's going to get probably cut. Apparently in American baseball they don't actually have like you're just fired. They have to wait for a specific day. So he's got kind of a
window of opportunity.
They're the words I'm looking for. The window of opportunity to prove himself.
Yeah.
But at this point it's just obviously a normal baseball film and no chimpanzee-based antics are to be seen.
The start of it's quite nice because you kind of settle into it thinking it's just a kind of rags to riches type film.
Yeah.
So he's an underdog. He's a farmhand. Well, he works on his mum and dad's farm. He likes animals. Yeah. He sleeps with a dog.
And he licks his face a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of face licking. And then he goes off to his trials. And
gets signed up.
So yeah, and then at the start you're thinking, oh, this could be quite easy going.
Yeah, there is that. I mean, the only real obvious tell that this is a comedy is the comedy noises.
Yes.
And clearly someone's watched this the first time round and gone, no, that's not funny. It's not funny in any way, shape or form. And we don't know when it's meant to be funny even.
Yeah.
So what they've then done is then sat there with the director, I imagine, who's poring over his letters from Vietnam, and gone, at which point is this film meant to be funny? Let's put a comedy noise in.
Yeah.
So there are numerous... I mean, we bought the sound effects. We don't need them now.
No, we don't.
You just absolutely nailed them. But then the plot moves forward because the owner, the guy with the wig that we saw, that I thought was the acrobat, him.
Yeah.
He has the plan. He hands the coach the plan. It's a big, thick plan, but apparently the plan simply says buy a monkey. That's it.
But it's a big, thick book, isn't it?
It's a big, thick book that says buy a monkey. And they're really
worried. We don't know
worried.
this at this point.
No, well, no, because he looks at it and the coach is just like, oh man, the players are going to really kick off about this new mascot.
But at no point is anything explained as to why a monkey is required. And I mean,
or a mascot, how a mascot would change the fortunes of a team.
They actually mention a mascot.
Yeah, on the second viewing, those.
Okay, the second point, those little nuggets come up. But
between the tears.
So Matt LeBlanc's character goes to pick up the monkey.
That's what we saw the bus scene.
The bus scene.
The bus driver you recognise. He's been in a million films as well.
Yes, yeah. Probably one of his lowest points.
This is where we'd normally pause, find out that guy's name and the other films he's been in, and then edit that in.
Yeah, brilliant, isn't it? That? Doing it at home so much easier, isn't it? You never look at each other this intently.
No, it's weird. I've never stared at Chris quite so much since the first night, since the bad thing.
Don't talk about that.
Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, he picks up the monkey.
Picks up the monkey.
And he's surprised, obviously.
Well, yeah, no one mentions, like, if someone was sending me to pick up a chimpanzee, I'd at least like a small heads up.
Yeah. By the
Especially
way,
one that looks as demonic as this chimpanzee does.
yeah, that's the other thing. We'll touch on Ed, who's the chimpanzee character. I mean, this is a family kids film. I would suggest sort of Sunday afternoon viewing, really. But the chimp looks demonic.
Oh yeah, they gone full realistic on him.
You said he looks like something out of Greystone.
Yeah, the guy that did this, he was actually he's obviously known for his monkey work because he did Battle of the Apes as well.
Yeah.
So
he's like the Andy Serkis of the sort of 90s, isn't he?
The Andy Serkis of the Andy Serkis world, yeah.
Well, no, it's not
all CGI, yeah, it's true.
I mean, if you think about it, nowadays you wouldn't get away with this sort of thing because CGI, the leaps and bounds with CGI. I mean, you've seen like recent films like Pi, or anything with an animal in it, it's usually CGI.
Well, the new one, isn't it? The remake of Call of the Wild. It's a 100% CGI dog.
Man on his hands and knees playing the dog thing, and then
for
they draw
purposes.
it on afterwards.
Yeah.
So I mean,
very similar.
To get the animal to do the things it does, it was probably frowned upon now. I mean,
it wasn't bad, to be fair. The mask.
How long did it take to probably train him?
What, train him into how to be a chimp?
The chimp.
No, it's a man in a...
Sorry?
With a mask. It's a man with a mask.
Oh, right, okay.
With the demonic eyes.
Right.
So
if we had that sound effect, we could plug that there.
Nailed it. So yeah. I mean, this is the important thing about the Movie Bunker podcast is we do try and find the good bits.
Yeah.
So the monkey faces, like you, at first glance, you'd go, "That's a chimpanzee."
Yeah.
You're not instantly go, "That's a dude."
No. Yeah.
It's a fine mask.
It's a good mask, and animatronics are quite heavy, aren't they?
Yes. So the backstory. Ed's got a backstory.
Right.
So he was once owned by Mickey Mantle. Now I looked up, and Mickey Mantle was alive at this point because I thought it'd be a bit harsh.
Who is he?
He's a baseball guy.
Right.
Really famous baseball guy that did baseball things for a long baseball kind of time.
And he had a monkey. Oh, so that is his genuine monkey. So it is a real monkey. He's. Oh, okay. So it's like not a representation physically.
I don't know if Mickey Mantle actually ever really owned a monkey.
So that's not
or a
fact.
chimpanzee. It's potentially not a fact.
Right.
But for the purposes of the plot, it was required because otherwise there is no reason why someone would have a baseball trained monkey.
No, it's important.
It's important to know.
To the film.
Backstory is always important. Mm-hmm. He gets introduced to the team. They were worried about him being like a massive problem, but they love him.
Well, they don't even bat an eyelid, do they? I mean, the chimp turns up and they go, "Hey, Chimpy," or George, where's the man in the yellow hat, and all that sort of thing. And they welcome the chimp with open arms. Which is an amazing message.
Yep.
In this day and age.
Yeah.
And then the only one who's grumpy is Grumpy Matt LeBlanc. I mean, he's smiling there, but for the first sort of hour of the film, he looks like a badger with a smack bum. But yeah, Matt LeBlanc looking very nice. He's got tan, which is lovely.
He looks dirty with his tan.
I think it's the farm hand kind of thing. He's dyed his hair like a nice sort of gingery brown.
I like
the teeth stick out. I mean, they're really whitened, extra whitened for the. He's
good
not
looking
smiling
man
in that picture, but if you can imagine really white teeth. Well, you'll see another clip later, and we can really all look at his teeth together.
Yeah, so
where are we now in the podcast?
We're in the podcast world. So what's happened, right? So to recap, the monkey's been introduced. The monkeys are hit with the players. Coop doesn't like him for some bizarre reason. He's monkey phobic. I don't know. But he's still suffering with his choke problems.
Yes.
Now you can see there's this wonderful moment of realization on Jack Butler's face where he's like, I know what I can do. These two people, this one person and chimpanzee, need each other.
Yes.
One of them can stop Coop being a choker. So he bizarrely rigs a game of straw drawing. So rather than just going, Coop, the monkey's with you, he kind of just fakes this game where they all have to pull straws. The team, and then every time someone goes to pull what would obviously be the short straw, he just goes, and then eventually gets Coop gets it, and then he goes home.
Up together.
They literally
and
small,
it's almost
small
like
flat.
it's almost like it's all a big long con game. It's like a cross between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Gandalf or something.
Yeah,
because it's like a really twisty.
He's quite mystical.
And he's gone to so much trouble to bring Matt LeBlanc's skills out get him to learn about friendship, diversity.
I reckon
and all that sort of
at night he just goes home to a cornfield.
yeah. But yeah, I thought that whole premise of that, how they've balanced this whole sort of situation on the fact that he has to bunk up with a monkey to be able to throw better.
Yeah.
Well, and anyway, the monkey makes it on the team, doesn't he? So
eventually,
what's
yeah.
the point in Matt LeBlanc anyway? Because he doesn't add any value to the team. Currently.
No, because they got the nasty guy in it who is an unknown, never saw him since or after.
The nasty fielder.
Yeah, but he was actually the pitch. He was like the relief bowler, pitcher, and ball thrower, chief ball thrower. And it was clearly better than Coop at this point because whenever he came in, they did better, and he was always choosing. And they did the bit with the coin. So there's a scene where they go through this process of they got this like magical coin. Which sounds weird saying out loud.
It's got a magical coin in this game about film about baseball.
Yeah,
and a monkey. There's a magical coin.
There's a magical coin where he flips it to see whether or not the player. They say a player's name and they flip a coin and see whether or not that player will actually make it to the majors, the show.
Which is a professional way of doing it.
Yeah.
No skill-based, assessment.
No PDPs for these guys. Just quick coin plus. And then Coop's coin lands, like it hits the lamp, spins and doesn't fall one way or the other.
Yeah.
And then the other guy's about to do it again. He's like, no, let's see where this goes.
Is a sign.
Let's see where this goes, and puts a cup on it.
Jedi magic.
Yeah. To be honest, out of all the special effects in the film, I was most impressed with that one. I don't know how you get a coin to land on its side.
I think they probably just filmed themselves doing it for eternity until they got it right. We're not going home until the coin lands directly on
Throw it again. Proper Stanley Kubrick-esque.
So old. That was a nice little mystical touch, though, wasn't it?
I liked it as a sort of a nice callback throughout the rest of the film. It exists. There's this coin now sits, and it kind of shows you the status of Coop's kind of career path.
Yeah, he's on
it even does a few little wobbles occasionally, although clearly someone's kicking the table.
Yeah.
Right.
Got there?
So
we've got another 40 minutes to pad this out with.
This fine. I've got loads of this film. Tons of this. There's not a single scene in this film that isn't worth talking about.
We can't even go away and make a cup of tea. This is ridiculous.
No, or wait for our wives to make making noise in the background. So at some point he goes back with Ed because now they're roommates because that's going to resolve all of Coop's problems is living with a chimpanzee. That well-known, tried and tested thing. If your life's gone to shit, sorry, then
yes, he's done it. then I warned my kids to say, and my eldest said, It's really Matt that swears, though, isn't it, the most on your podcast? I said,
I don't want to be labelled as the swearer.
Yes, it is.
My mum always used to tell me it showed a lack of vocabulary.
Absolutely. I mean, look
I'm
at
saying it's extra words with anything.
You can't string a sentence together today.
So he goes home because a tried and tested way of getting over life's issues is to live with a chimpanzee for a very short time. I've done it. I know you have.
Should we play the clip?
Which clip is this?
Should we play the clip with them having? Oh no!
No, it's too early for the car drive.
Okay. I just thought the one with them because it involves them living together a bit.
Eventually, it does. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine.
But you can do it. Actually, it's not too far away.
In this podcast, you can tell what that is, can't you?
Do you know what's really embarrassing about this? There's one more sentence and then it's that clip.
I felt right. I knew it felt right. Do the sentence because it's your. You want to do it.
Yeah. All right.
You swore, and now you're ruining the.
So we're introduced to the love interest. This is what the important part of this is.
Yes.
So when it goes back, there's a lady living downstairs. Who's clearly a single mum of some form.
Some form. What other kind of single mums are there?
Multiple types of single mum. Not all the same.
Well, she's of some form.
Yeah, she's of some form. She's nice. Yeah. She's nice. She invites. Instantly. Again, no one ever mentions the fact that there's a chimpanzee knocking about.
No.
Instantly, first thing you do when you see a man and his chimpanzee, you invite him over for spaghetti.
Yes.
He doesn't go.
No. But at this point as well, worth mentioning that Ed shows his very human, polite side. He helps them in with the shopping.
Yeah, by jumping into a tree, making a huge noise, and then going and grabbing a bag.
Yeah, he helps them in, and he said, "Oh, you're a gentleman, but a lot more of a gentleman than."
She doesn't call him a gentleman. A perfect man. She refers to him as.
He's a perfect man. Yet he's a chimpanzee.
If you like hair on his back.
Yes, yeah, that's what he says, doesn't he?
That's what he says, because I watched it.
You've
I watched
seen
it twice. It's really quick, short succession.
Should we play that clip then?
Please do.
There's a clip there.
This is all
the
right.
driving scene. Yes,
Driving
please.
one.
Here we go. Matt's been drinking. Can they hear us over this clip? I don't know if they can. Well,
Okay, cool. So this is something that always crops up in American films, which always astounds me. Is drink driving doesn't seem to be in any way discouraged.
Yeah, you always see someone stumbling with the keys. But he said that's good. Why has he been drinking?
Because it was Cut Day, the famous Cut Day. He made it, but Jim Cazale didn't.
Oh, his buddy. Yeah.
His buddy didn't make it. And by this time, Ed is actually part of the team, playing third base, and doing very well.
So Ed there.
But Ed's actually driving. It sounds a bit low hits, but it's not. The soundtrack's not bad. And it's this is
Anyway, this is an important
ballpark
thing.
one.
They're having. This is what normally happens when you buddy up with people, flat sharing and stuff like this. When you both come in, having a skinful. Is this the point I was thinking? On mine was I put down the chimpanzees. What the chimpanzees' penises? What are they like? Because in terms, I mean, is it one of those ones? Is it like a lipstick one, like a dog? But because he's comfortably sort of.
He's
weird
big.
there. I don't think they are they? They don't like.
No, słyszim cię.
No. Anyway, somebody Google it.
Maybe not at work.
No.
I made a note that they didn't wash their hands, either of them.
Well, they're drunk. You don't watch it. You're drunk.
Well, in this day and age, you need to wash your hands 20 seconds after birthday twice.
So yeah, get into bed together as all men do when they've had a skinful. Spooning probably.
Strzelą, musisz nie co udzielać z ciebie.
And then he realises he's in bed with a chimp.
I wonder what would happen if you hadn't farted. How far would this have gone?
Well, hopefully, he just does a loving embrace.
Yes.
So that's the clip bit.
That's the clip of him driving a car. So it's at this point that they start to become they become friendlier.
Yeah.
It's weird because it doesn't really follow. The film doesn't follow the normal kind of beats of slowly introducing like a friendship. It kind of goes backwards and forwards between being friends.
Yeah.
Like after this scene, the next day, Ed wakes up and can hear the noise of obvious bowling in the back, pitching in the background.
You will get the sport right eventually.
Someone's throwing a ball. So he hears the sound of throwing a ball and he gets very excited. And he does his excited face. And jumps out the window. And sort of like, at this point you can see that Coop has some skills. Because he's throwing a ball through a hole. And and then the chimp moves the hole and he still manages to throw through it.
Yeah.
So they, I don't know where it's going. Oh yeah, so this is when Ed starts actually playing baseball. So he was previously a mascot, which but apparently without any actual mascot responsibilities.
No.
Like he didn't do any mascot. He kind of just hung around a bit.
Well, it's just a long con thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is all.
It's all part of the coach's massive master plan.
Yeah.
So the third baseman gets knocked out. Ed starts playing. Instantly gets 3 people out, which everyone goes crazy for.
Yes.
And it's apparently a really good thing because then they get a go. And so from this point, not only does Ed start making the team play better, but also Matt LeBlanc starts throwing better.
Yeah, so the plan is working. They're gelling as a couple. Matt's coming out of himself. He's learning to take direction, and the chimp is obviously becoming integrated.
It does fall into that massive conceit that you have in a lot of these American sports films, where it seemingly does not matter how poor a team was at the beginning, or how many games have passed until the redemption point. But after that, they are 2 games away from the championship.
And Ed starts appearing in Time magazine and stuff like that, doesn't he?
He does.
A little montage of him on the covers of.
He becomes really famous. But the thing is, it doesn't allude to it at all. You just see these sort of like a montage, because we love a sports film. You have to have a montage.
Usually a training montage.
Normally a training, but
the training montage.
But he's already got the skills, so the training montage is unnecessary. So this is a success montage where they have him on Sports Illustrated and other things, where he's holding 2 women at one point. Various bizarre.
He's a strong monkey.
Various bizarre photo shoots, which at no point is alluded to in the film when you get the time to do this.
No.
Or how these pictures were taken.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be a lot more interesting if they then took Ed into the city rather than going that whole.
So it'd be Ed in the city.
Ed
that
in
could
the
be
city.
Part 2. Ed 2.
But then they'd have to go back to recover these
Ed
bits.
And the city, like
Ed
Sex
and
in the City, but with Eds.
But with Eds
He
instead.
could become a journalist or a writer or something and just start going.
Hang out with three other chimpanzee friends.
Well, they do. If you put loads of chimpanzees with typewriters in a room, apparently they can write a story or something, can they?
They could do this podcast.
They could. Who's to say they haven't? Half an hour, Matt, we've got to pad now. So what are we doing now then?
Right, so now.
Usually we go and have a cup of tea, come back, have a think about it.
Put some clips in.
Yeah, this is difficult, isn't it?
Right, so we've come to the big bit though. Oh. So we've now fully established their relationship as friends.
Yes.
His relationship with Jane has got deeper to the point, and her conniving daughter has done everything she can.
She's pushing them together.
She wants,
without really kind of asking whether. At one point, she says to Matt LeBlanc's character outside in the sort of car park, "Are you gay?"
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, what?
That was weird.
Yeah, it's like how.
It's a strange opening to a conversation with a neighbour.
He's like, "Excuse me." She's like, "Well, you don't seem to be."
You don't want my mum.
It's like, no, I just don't fancy her.
Well, he tried to make a long explanation about how before you do anything fun, you have to do your homework first.
So what's he doing? Swatting up on her or something?
I think he was more alluded to the fact that he wanted to be a good bowler. But we've got to this point now where they've basically gaslighted him into liking the downstairs neighbour between Ed and the daughter. He's got no choice. He's asked her out. Yep. She's agreed. Her daughter's like, what, 12, 10, 12?
Probably it's about between 10 and 12. She's young. She's too young.
She's too young to be left alone.
Exactly. And she's too young to be left alone
with a chimpanzee. Yeah.
Which is what they do.
Yeah. So they go on a date and they leave her with the chimpanzee with explicit instructions not to stay up past 10 o'clock.
Yep. That's
the only instruction.
Yep.
Nothing about don't be in the same room as the chimpanzee.
Chimpanzees are, well, I mean, you've done a little bit more research.
I did a bit more research. So they went to the fair, as you do as grown adults. They went to the fair together, and you see Jane, and she's a bit nervous. She's staring at a telephone. This is pre-mobile phones, and she's going, should I call? Am I just being an overprotective mum? And Coop at this point says, don't be silly. What's the worst that can happen? So then I looked up, what's the worst that can happen? And there's a famous chimpanzee called Travis, who was famous. He did commercials and he was in music videos. And one day he went mental, and he ripped off the face and bit off the hands of a neighbour. So that's the worst that can happen. Luckily, that's not what happened.
Well, we can see what happened.
We can see what happened.
The famous unfunny clip, which is hilarious.
This is all right.
Positive in English. He's the most responsible guy I know. They'll be fine.
Bless into the kitchen's a rotten egg. Up for some ice cream, Ed?
Big enough. That was impressive.
Good thing there's more where that came from.
That just screams babies.
Save them for dessert.
One of these situations. This is like out.
Show off.
That's that brilliant clip.
So they're at the fair. This is going on. They make a mess of the place. They end up tidying up effectively, I thought.
Very well. Yeah, very good.
And they stuff all of the stuff into a cupboard.
Yeah.
And then they come back, and they're happy to see that A, her daughter still has a face and hands, and B, the place is tidy.
Yeah, they do a great job.
And well, they open the cupboard eventually, and then
It all falls out.
well, you see some popcorn. So I guess they didn't want to tidy up twice.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's the taste. I just don't want to say that because I wrote that down. I just don't want to forget because it reminded me of PG Tips adverts and it's a taste. But yeah, so just I'll forget that otherwise. This film was Razzie nominated as well. Before we go and talk about the end, I just want to go off the tangent really.
Yes, it was
because we've got loads of time to fill. So. As we love the Razzies, that's our kind of that's our Oscars, and so we're always interested in what's peaking in the Razzie noms. So this got nominated for Worst Picture, Worst Screen Couple, which was Matt LeBlanc with Ed, the Mechanical Monkey. Although that's debatable, as far as I'm concerned. Worst screenplay for David McKay Evans, Ken Richards, and Janice Saccone. 3 people wrote this movie. Not one of them.
3.
Yeah, it's surprising, isn't it? And then worst new star Razzie Award went to Friends cast members turned down movie star wannabes. Jennifer Aniston.
So yeah, this is early on in the Friends term, so they all got a nomination. All of the Friends cast got nominations because they'd all kind of done little spin-off films, or like as I said, mentioned previously, as sort of burgeoning actors, they'd probably, they're not saying no to anything before Friends, and then they probably had these films in the can, and then just sort of like saw this popularity, and then just absolutely pushed them out the door as quick as possible. So there, but they lost out. They didn't actually win any of those Razzies because they lost out to Striptease, the Demi Moore vehicle.
No, that's she did. Striptease.
Striptease.
Yep, sorry.
Another Razzie one.
Yeah. So what happens at the end? Should we just skip to the end?
Let's not skip to the end. There's loads more to go.
Oh God.
So much more of this film to go. So to add the typical third act peril. They can't just because they didn't want to just go down the route because they're obviously being quite successful. They're one game of going for Pettit. The crowds are getting massive, and everyone is like really loving Ed. They don't Coop not so much, but Ed he's like a huge now superstar. So they got like massive crowds. Ed's playing a blinder. They're one game away from a championship pennant thing. They one game away from winning. He's outside signing autographs and all sorts. And so there's these things throughout the whole film. I had to actually look these up. So he eats quite exclusively, and it's soon, and there's adverts everywhere for nutty nanas.
Nutty nanas.
Nutty nanas. Nutty nanas.
Yeah, nutty bananas.
Well, with my accent, I can't say it. Nutty nanas, and it just sounds like this is one constant noise.
Yeah.
Nutty nanas.
Nutty nanas.
Which are frozen
bananas
with dipped in chocolate and nuts.
Delicious.
It sounded. They don't exist. That's made up for the film.
They made them up for the film.
They made them up for the film.
Well, great.
But
I mean, not anymore.
If you Google
Matt
it,
and Chris's nutty nanas.
there are some recipes to make nutty nanas.
Nutty nanas.
It's just stuck now. Nutty nanas, because but they're not dipped in chocolate and nuts. It's mostly just peanut butter.
Right, that wouldn't work for me. I'm
Why?
not really a big fan of peanut butter, to be honest. But also, you can't really dip a banana in peanut butter because it's quite hard, isn't it? You'd end up probably just mashing it in.
And it come out completely clean, just with a hole in the peanut butter.
Yeah. Well, let's try it. So, I don't know.
Proper Blue Peter.
That would have been funny, wouldn't it?
So,
what do you think of that?
What, bringing a nutty nana in?
Well, no, just a banana, some props, and we could have done it live.
It doesn't play well on audio.
Well, this is a visual and audio thing today. We could have done
Today, yeah. Now we're all visual. But anyway, he's out front, and a child walks up to him and goes, "Hey Ed, do you want some of my nutty nana?" But in an American accent.
Yeah.
And he bites it, and then the kid goes, "Hey!" And it really bugged me for ages. It's just like,
you offered the banana and then was surprised when he took a bite.
What did he want? What did he want him to I don't know. All I can imagine is that next to him was a mental granny that he wanted bitten, because he didn't want his. I don't know why he did it.
No,
it really bugged me.
No one knows.
No one knows. And at this point as well, we see the owners are really backed up on themselves.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really the owner; it's the owner's son, isn't it? Who's kind of.
I can't remember.
Yeah, it is. Trust me. He's got the wig.
Oh, the wig guy.
And he's out the front, and he's like, we're doing so amazingly well, and all we have to do is pay this guy in bananas. This is brilliant. And then it transpires that what he's actually aiming to do is sell Ed.
Yes, this is when it gets
this is weird. This is, as I said, it's a vehicle just to add some peril to the final third, to try and create some sort of because at this point, him in the side, Coop throwing absolute blinders.
Yes.
Then the championship games.
It's the end of the film, isn't it? It's like a 45. It's like a short film.
It's a no-brainer, but
they need to pad it out a little bit, like this podcast.
So what actually happened? So he's decided to sell Ed one game before the championship.
Which is ridiculous.
To another team in the league.
Yes.
But they don't just do it like a really open, obvious fashion. They wait till Ed goes off to get a drink, and they kind of kidnap it.
Yeah.
And they take him and they put him in a cage. But he's just been sold. He's just a thing to be sold. They can't say anything about this because they bought him in the first place.
Yes.
Fundamentally, this fake chimpanzee is a commodity.
Sorry, fake. You keep saying fake. It's
thrown for a bit, right? So, so they sell him, and then it goes really weird. So there's no reason to sell this chimpanzee at this point.
We do so well for the club.
You're about to win.
Yeah.
Sell him at the end of the season if you're going to try and cash in. I don't know what the life expectancy on a chimpanzee is like.
2 years.
But okay.
2 years in captivity, seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
What if you feed with nutty nanas?
Probably longer. Or shorter, depending on what you're using. Peanut butter or chocolate? Which one?
Chocolate. Less. Peanut butter?
More.
Right. Just clarifying that. So cash in. One game you've got.
Yeah.
Cash in after that game. But no, he decides he's going to cash in. So he sold him to another club. Matt LeBlanc he starts talking to Jane about this because he's not happy. No one's happy that he's been sold, apart from the wig owner guy.
Yes.
No one's happy. So he's talking to Jane, and Jane's like tearing up and giving him like so much grief.
Yeah.
She compares it to her child being kidnapped. She's like, I suppose if... She goes, what are you going to do about it? He's like, well, nothing I can do. It's like, it's a perfectly legal transaction.
Yeah.
I've got no legs to stand on.
It's got nothing to do with it. They're living together. It's a muitual thing. But
yeah.
That could be removed at any time. I mean.
Yeah. And the coach, the Gandalf coach, has already said to him, "It's like, hey guys, ball players get traded. It happens." But
not on my watch, man.
But she's like, what would you do? I suppose if my daughter got kidnapped, I would just ignore it. I would just let it go.
That's kidnapping.
That's different.
That's illegal.
And also, you probably wouldn't do much, to be fair. You'd probably just phone the police.
You would.
It's kind of a passive thing. But anyway, so she, again, gaslights him. He's very easy to manipulate, Coop. into going...
He's simple, isn't he?
He's simple.
He's a simple guy.
He's a simple guy.
He just wants to throw a ball and...
Really hard.
...sleep with his dog.
So she sends him on his way to go and rescue Ed. Mm-hmm. And so this is where it's also very weird, because he goes to the new bull ground that he's been sold to,
Which is much bigger, loads of money in this place. It's a big place, isn't it?
I mean, Ed's going to be happy here. He's going to kick on in his career. But then you cut to it, and he's sneaking around trying to find Ed, and they've sort of hired two goons to...
Sorry?
Two goons.
Oh, right. It's the 99ers again.
Yeah. They've hired two goons to capture Ed, even though they could have just taken him normally. So they got him, and they've got him in a cage, and they're electrocuting him.
Yeah, it's sort of like a raptor thing out of Jurassic Park, isn't it?
Yeah, he's in a cage, and they're like, put it on! And they're making him wear a clown outfit.
For no reason.
So, this is again where my understanding of the film started to fall apart, because you've got this wonderful ball-playing chimpanzee that, all right, originally was bought as a mascot, but now is established as a star player in the league. And you're going to just make him wear a clown costume and torture him.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
But and also, Ed, at this point, we are thinking a little bit more about Ed's well-being and safety, whereas before he was just a comedy thing.
A demonic-faced comedy thing.
Yeah, but now we're supposed to be thinking, what's going to happen to Ed? And then he gets rescued.
Yeah, Matt LeBlanc rescues him. Well, does he though? There's a bit of a punch-up.
Yeah.
A really weird punch-up.
He's got a good hook on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, although one guy gets kicked in the nether regions. Swerved that one.
Well done.
Thank you. And but apparently no effect. There's some as a goon.
Well, he might have one of those retractable penises,
like a chimpanzee. Maybe he's a half-shaped chimpanzee.
We're allowed to say that, aren't we?
What, retractable penis?
Thank you. No, I was asking whether it's censoring.
It's been like 4.
We're not drawing more attention to that.
It's been 4 times now. I think if there was an issue with retractable penis, we'd have heard it by now.
Yeah.
But at one point, they're fighting, and the guy turns around and like starts advancing on the caged chimpanzee. I'm like, why? He's in a cage. What are you going to do?
And the cage is electrocuted. There's that really cool special effect where it goes zzz.
Yeah, it goes blue.
But
he does actually escape out of the cage. But apparently, that's not enough peril.
I can't remember what happened. At this point, I don't want to say, I watched this last night. Matt is doing very well today. I was...
You drank too much, didn't you?
I was on the gin. And I actually I liked this film a lot more as the night progressed.
Weird.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, this is not bad. And I was smiling towards the end.
But with that inane glassy-eyed smile of a gin man.
I'd had about 4 gins, and I think it helps. But then also, the problem is I can't remember the end. That's the problem.
Right.
I watched it like literally last night. You've watched it this morning.
Literally
watched it and remember a lot more than I can.
It was this morning.
And last night as well.
Yeah, so when they escape, he gives him an ambiguous instruction.
Yeah.
He goes to Ed, get in the truck. He puts him out a window, goes, go get in the truck, meaning his truck, and then we'll get out of here. But next to his truck, what is there?
An ice cream truck.
Nutty Nana.
Oh, yes! Nutty Nana truck. A delivery truck. Specifically delivering Nutty Nanas.
Delivering Nutty Nanas.
And in the back of it, it's just nothing but
Nutty
boxes
Nanas.
and boxes of Nutty Nanas.
Yeah,
I remember this bit because I remember laughing.
You remember laughing at this bit?
Yeah, well.
Oh, right. Okay. So, Ed gets in the back of the Nutty Nana truck.
Yes.
And first of all, he thinks it's some sort of heaven. Because there he is, surrounded by his favourite snacks.
Favourite treats.
So he starts going to town on them. And the time frames in this film is all over the place. Because then, obviously, Coop recognises the fact that he's missing and has probably gone into the Nutty Nana truck.
He works that out.
So he works it out. So he jumps in his truck, starts chasing him down.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, like in the back of the truck, like 15, 16 of these boxes are destroyed and empty. And he's starting to go, oh.
Yeah.
Again, plays well over audio. Shiveringly cold.
Yeah.
Breath. I think they used the same breath from Titanic. Just freezing to death. But like, so quickly for a fur-covered man.
He's a fur-covered man.
And he's got a coat on, but it's not enough to save him from what I can only assume to be semi-terminal brain freeze from the frosty snacks. But even when he's like, oh God, it's so cold. Just one more. He's stealing him. But he gets him pulled over and rescues him, but he's not looking good for Ed.
No.
So what do you do?
He's very cold.
What do you do when your chimpanzee is suffering from semi-terminal brain freeze?
Kiss of life?
taken to human hospital. That's right, Chris. Straight off to human hospital they go, because that's the best place for a near-dead chimpanzee.
Yeah, well, maybe it was closer than the vet. I mean, you never know. Yeah, maybe.
So
maybe
you're telling
he
me
had health insurance.
if you got struck down now by the virus,
which what are we talking about?
Anyway, and there was a vet a bit closer than a hospital, you'd be like, take me
to the vet.
Take me
Get me
to the
nails
vet.
trimmed at the same time.
Teeth filed.
Teeth filed, yeah, they do that, don't they? Sometimes they just include it in the price.
So
Quite helpful.
yeah, so they take him to human hospital where he doesn't look good.
No.
And then Coop goes back to the baseball team, and they're like, because he's late because it's a thingy bob match. It's the final, the championship game.
Yeah.
But he's late because he's been
at
he's been rescuing chimpanzees
Been to
and
the hospital.
and a hospital. I don't know how long this day is because you could do one of those things in this country, and that would be your day gone.
Yes, especially with the traffic as well.
Traffic on championship ball game day.
No way.
It's going to be horrendous.
It's not going to happen, is it?
So he goes back, and this is another weird thing. So they're like, oh, phone's finally arrived, Coop, and he whispers to the coach, and the coach goes, oh my God, everyone, come round. They're there. Ed's in hospital. He doesn't look good for him.
Yeah.
Why did he feel the need to relay that through the? Why didn't he just say it out loud when they said, oh, where have you been? Rather than just
Maybe they
whispering.
want to disrupt the game or anything.
Well, they weren't having a game at that point.
You remember far too much about this.
You're just too drunk to remember.
Anyway, oh, careful, please. We're live.
You might interrupt our flow.
That's it. Ruined it now.
That's it.
It's ruined it.
Flip table.
You notice how angry Matthew gets doing these podcasts.
Well, it's just
That's the
small
stuff,
things frustrate me.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is why I work with you.
So nice.
So,
Shall we do the end?
Well, that is the end.
That is the end. Right. So
They play the
everyone is
baseball
happily
game
ever after.
and they win.
Yeah.
Because he turns up in his hospital gown. Because he wakes up, and then the human doctor is like, "Oh my God,
So
I don't want to do. I'm a human doctor."
can we just say right now, because I want to do the reviews and also
Oh yeah, the reviews.
and I think it would be a good idea for you to tell us whether you think this is a bunker movie.
Oh yeah, it's 100% a bunker film.
Because I don't think it is. No.
Why?
Because A, I was drunk, and B, I like the fact that they put the effort in to train the monkey.
Yeah, but A means you don't remember any of the film,
Yeah.
and B, it wasn't a monkey. It's a man in a suit.
So you keep saying.
Yeah,
Right. I'll give you some factoids.
it's going to be
This
borne
stage
out
of
by the factoids.
In this sort of section of the podcast, I usually do give you some facts. So we're going to give you some facts, and Matt loves this part.
Oh,
Matthew Perry, Matt LeBlanc's co-star from Friends in 1994, was considered for the lead role. Turned it down. Probably a wise decision.
I don't think it would have saved the film.
Texas Rangers second baseman Mark McLemore, long-time friend of Matt LeBlanc, spent time during off-season teaching. Sorry, I'll read that sentence again. I realise I'm just reading the words as opposed to putting any sort of effort into that. He's basically spent time during off-season teaching Matt LeBlanc how to throw and look like a Major League Baseball player, which is interesting.
It's a shame his long-term friend wasn't a good actor.
Yeah. Ed the chimp is actually just a guy in a suit. Oh yeah, with a mechanically controlled head made so much noise that all the dialogue in the scenes, which included the chimp, had to be redubbed.
It's all right.
Production.
It'll be fine, mate.
Yeah, fine.
It's
I'll give you
fine.
some other chimp stuff if you like. Celebrities with monkeys. So Justin Bieber had a monkey. It was confiscated in Germany because he didn't have the appropriate paperwork, and he didn't go back to collect it. He just left it there. Says a lot, doesn't it? Michael Jackson.
Hold on, you can't just brush over that. What happened to the monkey?
Don't know. He's still there, probably just chilling out. Still waiting.
Just waiting.
Michael Jackson famously had a monkey. We know what happened to Bubbles, don't we? Clooney didn't have a monkey, but he has a pig. George Clooney. Mike Tyson famously had a tiger. And Leonardo DiCaprio has an African spurred tortoise. So there you go. There's approximately 4,500 primates owned as pets in the UK. So there you go. There's a little bit of a tip there. And it's frowned upon. Basically, it reduces their lifespan. I mentioned it earlier on. If they're held out of captivity in a domestic scene, they can live up to 2 years maximum, which is a shame.
Unless you feed them 99 hours, which is slightly
think
longer.
Think twice about doing that, I would suggest.
So, are we going to do the reviews? We've got time for reviews?
Yeah, we'll do the reviews really quickly. We often do reviews
for balance.
We usually play a bit of music behind it. Which one are you doing? So,
excellent
movie.
10 out of 10s.
I'm going to do the other one, a masterpiece. Can we play Steptoe and Son behind this, if that's possible? If you haven't, don't worry. We'll imagine it in our heads.
So it was clear there was 4 10 out of 10 reviews on IMDb, our source of truth, and they're all fake. Absolutely, no one thought this was a 10 out of 10. This one strung out because if you're going to fake it properly. Make an effort.
Are you going to do a voice?
Oh God.
Yeah, we'd always do a voice.
Okay. Yeah, this is going to be old man because of the content.
Do it.
I personally thought it was one of the best movies I've seen in a while. I watched it recently on HBO, and I thought the plot was absolutely great. Whoever wrote the screenplay did an astonishing job. Matt LeBlanc's acting was good in my opinion. Hold on. Astonishing to good in one sentence? Anyway. And his chemistry with Ed was undeniably amazing. I couldn't even tell that Ed was a fake chimp because of the great editing and special effects in this movie. I am planning to watch this movie later while I enjoy a buttery bowl of Orville's Red and Patches popcorn. If you are reading this review, please do not listen to the other user reviews.
What?
The other user reviews. The movie was great and a fun-filled family comedy. That's it, full. And 7 people found that useful.
Brilliant. I've got one from Tuckfront. It was written on
Tuckfront?
2nd of June 2018. I'll do another old voice. I'll do, what's his name? Ian McKellen.
Oh, yeah.
Forget script, forget plot, and don't concern yourself with the character arc. The movie is about fun, a monkey and man relationship that questions our own desires. Pain and spiritual fulfillment is what this fantastic film is about. During a time in the mid-90s when The English Patient and The Shawshank Redemption was filling the movie theatres, Ed was overlooked but now considered a postmodern classic. I will call it the Citizen Kane of the Man-Monkey movies.
It's a small pool he's pissing in there.
Beating out every which way but loose, and how to commit to marriage. Matt LeBlanc shows what human evolution is really about, and he and his companions join together to accomplish their dreams and show the world that man and monkey live in harmony, or can live in harmony. Yeah, brilliant.
They liked it, we didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. You were.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it, and you should too. I recommend you going home and renting it. It's £2.99 for me, or £6 because you wanted to watch it in HD.
I thought I'd buy it because I'd watch it twice. Then I'd have been. I'm pounds in when I watched. It'd have been £7 to watch it twice, or £6.99 to watch
You're a
it
fool.
forever.
You're an absolute fool. Well, that's the end of the podcast. I mean, absolutely fantastic doing this. I think you'll agree.
Thing to read out.
We've got the thing to read out at the end. I think the last page potentially. But if you like what you hear and you like what you're seeing as well, I mean, obviously it's not usually what you would see, but. Yeah, like, subscribe, do all the things that you should be doing for podcasts, rate it and leave a review. And obviously donate to this fantastic cause as well. Matt, you want to close it out?
Yes, I'm going to read this.
Perfect.
We're here this weekend to raise money for Sports Relief, who help disadvantaged people all over the UK and beyond. Let's listen to one of the ways that your money helps.
There's something I want to share with you, and it's good news. This is Lucy and her little boy, born just 2 days ago. Doesn't even have a name yet. Partly because of your donations to Comic Relief, he's been born into a country where mosquito nets are being made available to more and more families and are saving lives every day. Because of vaccines you are helping fund for children, the mortality rate has been dramatically reduced. But we're not quite there yet. I went to the main hospital in Lilongwe, Malawi's capital, to see what still needs to be done. I met Jean, a nurse in the children's ward. It's nice to see you, Jean. Thanks for letting us come here.
You are very welcome.
So how many kids do we have here on this bed?
We have 5 kids on this bed, and most of the kids here have been treated for malaria. Majority of these women don't have the mosquito nets.
And mosquito nets could have prevented the kids from getting malaria.
Yeah.
The ward is overrun with cases of malaria. So there are 2 floors to this hospital because it's not only busy on this floor, it's also busy on this floor. There just simply aren't enough beds to go around. There are too many cases to fit these beds, so people have to sit on the floor, do whatever they can to look after their children. A new case has been admitted. It's a little boy called Tenbani, and he's finding it hard to breathe. His mum and dad, along with his baby brother, have traveled for over 4 hours to get him to hospital.
He was admitted with complaint of chest pains, coughing, and shortness of breath. That child is very sick and has got a very severe disease.
Tenbani has also tested positive for malaria, and it's devastating news for his mum. Tenbani's mum has been in this situation before. Even before Tenbani was born, she lost a son. He was an infant too, the same age as Tenbani is now. It's vital that Tenbani's breathing is stabilized, but there's not enough oxygen pumps to go around, so the only option now is to pump air into Tenbani's body by hand. But there aren't enough medical staff, so it's up to Tenbani's dad to help keep his son alive. All through the night, desperate to see any sign of recovery, Tenbani's dad hand-pumped oxygen for his little boy. But eventually, Tenbani had become too weak to cope, and he went into cardiac arrest.